We play.
We fight.
We conquer.
Welcome to the Freak Show, where our one rule is trade all the rogues. I am your host today, Bumpy McSquigums, and I am excited, ladies and gentlemen. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while, and I'm super excited that it's nearly here, nearly upon us, and I get a chance to dive into the beta test, as you see in the bottom left corner, for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It is from the folks over at Owlcat Games, and it releases on December 7th, 2023. A big shout out and a thank you to Owlcat Games for not only hooking me up with the code for this, which again is super appreciated and I'm very grateful for, but they also went above and beyond, and they just hooked me up with like the entire suite of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, including the latest DLC that dropped on November 21st, 2023, The Lord of Nothing. So if you guys are a big fan of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous and you wanted to have a reason to come back and play it again or play some new content, latest DLC just dropped. Go check it out. Also, you can check out my very first steps into the realm of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, as I just started up a series on that. And first look, about an hour of time spent getting kind of the storyline, a little bit of the combat and stuff, going into the Lord of Nothing DLC, which continues one of the previous DLCs. So if you want to continue that storyline, then you can absolutely go and do that. So, enough with other stuff, guys and gals. Let's dive in and begin our adventure. Again, keep in mind, this is the beta test. I had technical problems. I'm not going to get into it, but essentially, I already kind of did this. So, I have a rough idea what I'm doing. We're just going to go forward and do it. I'll try to relive my joyous moments, but some of the banter is going to be lost from my first time through, which sucks. I always like to give you guys that first impression. So, main story. Take up the mantle of a rogue trader, a scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over their trade protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. Darkness looms over the bloodline of the Von Valencius as it faces multiple dangers from a traitor amongst its ranks, which, by the way, I absolutely called without knowing. Now it's going to feel cheap that I do know. Traitor amongst its ranks to the numerous enemies seeking to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to you to hold the reins of the shattered protectorate and forge a new path for the rogue trader dynasty that finds itself in the vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities, and heresy. For the Emperor. The stakes rise as you cross the paths of the most powerful adversaries and rivals that chase their own goals in the darkness of the Koronos expanse. Alright, let's get into this, folks. Right now, it looks like there's only 2 game difficulties. That might stay and might not stay. Also, technically, there's infinite difficulties, or there's a finite number because, you know. But we can adjust all these sliders, so we can customize the difficulty however we'd like. I'm going to go with normal. Right now, core is the other one, and it says it's not recommended for players not familiar with Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader system, which nobody should be. I mean, a little familiarity. You know, there's definitely going to be some overlap, but yeah, I'm going to go with normal. It's fine. We're going to roll with that. I imagine if this is anything like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, that it's going to be quite a bit more robust upon release. There are things in the beta that are not fully fleshed out yet, so do keep that in mind. So, you can create a custom character, which is absolutely what we're going to do. We're going to breeze through it, though, because we want to get into the gameplay and play around, see some of the storyline, and so on and so forth. But they also have 3 pre-made characters, Hakata, Darius, and Bahardor. I have no idea how to say the last name. It's fine. And I'm going to probably mispronounce like 90% of stuff, so just be aware. Laugh at me and move on. Alright, so this is a marksman. We also have an adept and a fighter. Shout out to Party Commissar. Alright, and we'll shout out to him again in a minute. Custom character creation. Let's do it. Alright, and again, shout out to Commissar. There he is in all of his glory. Party Commissar, the one true lad, or dude, guy, my man's, whatever. He's and Femme Commissar. That's a thing I never thought we'd see, but Femme Commissar and regular Commissar. Yay! It looks like there's male and female variants. The old masculine and female variants of more or less everything. So, you know, a little something for everybody. Good. All right, I've decided I'm going to be this like tech priest person. I have no idea if that's what we actually are. It does say work in progress at the bottom. The appearance I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time with. I'm just going to randomly throw a face. I'm going to be real skinny. That's fine. Hair. That seems tech priesty to me. We can do a tattoo or scars. Again, I don't care. That seems blasphemous. All right, that might be a little bit much for me. I don't know where the tattoos are going. And you can't zoom in on the character, which is odd. What does this do? Show doll visual settings? Okay. Oh no. Oh, we could show with clothes on? I do. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Okay. And then we got some implants here. We do a little implantation. There we go. And then there's male and female voice options there. No big deal. All right. And I have looked through all of these, and I think I'm making a mistake. So maybe I can make a better choice here. I want one strength and weapon skill. I don't think that is what I should be going with. I should be going with intelligence. Because that is... A lot of these have intelligence and toughness with the removal of fellowship. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Voidborn. That sounds like a terrible, terrible start for us. Alright, we're going to do that. That's what we're doing. We're losing 5 strength. We are going to be, again, shout out to Party Commissar, looking super dapper. But we're going to be part of the Ministorum Priest. That's what we're going to be. The Ecclesiarchy, known formally as the Adeptus Ministorum, is a vast institution that oversees the galaxy-spanning religion of the Imperium. The Ecclesiarchy is complex hierarchies and cardinals, missionaries, preachers, and zealous laity ensure that the prescribed prayers and invocations are made and teach the masses to guard against heresy and deviancy. You used to be one of those fiery and charismatic individuals concerned with keeping a close watch on your congregation. True. All right. As you can see, some more works in progress here, which is fine. And then our doctrines are essentially our classes. There look like there's some advanced classes here that are either not available yet, might have some prerequisites. Oh my god, what is this? I never clicked on that before. Huh. Neat. Do we get one of those too? We do. Oh, neat. Alright, well, we're going to be an adept, but we have the fighter, we have the leader, and it says right here, warning, this version contains limited selection of advanced paths for the leader. For the second half of the version content, if you plan on playing this for over 10 hours, consider a different doctrine. Then you have the adept and the marksman. We're going adept styles with a Z. And yeah, this is what we got. We got our keystone ability, studying enemies. The adept will randomly distribute int bonus stacks of clue marks upon the enemies in a 4 square radius. It's actually pretty big, within a 10 cells range. The clues remain until the end of combat and can add insight, a characteristic that increases damage against studied enemies. The adept hits a target with a clue. It deals an additional plus maybe perception bonus per insight, or a plus per bonus plus insight. I'm not real sure. Damage, removes 1 stack of clue and provides +1 insight to the adept until the end of combat. So it's a good idea to use this a lot, and you can use it, I believe, once per combat. Maybe not. Maybe you can do it more. It costs 2 AP. So, and then eventually we're going to get dismantling attack, a whole bunch of those second weapons. Our characteristics are intelligence, perception, weapon, skill, and ballistic weapon. And then we have a whole bunch of other cool stuff, which works for me. Alright, well, we know that our fellowship took a slight hit, but our intelligence is pretty darn high. So we're going to throw that up to 4 to 5. I think we're going to go a little bit more into toughness. I'm probably going to go 1 more point into agility here. Then I'm going to go with maybe weapon skill. No, I'm going to go with perception. I'm going to do a little bit more perception there. All right. I think that's fine. And we will go slower and be a little bit more in depth once the game is fully out and we do full normal coverage of the game. So do be aware of that. We could rename our flagship to something else, but this is totally fine for the time being. I apply, and here's our lad. Here's our boy. He's ready. A little bit weaker, but it's all... Oh, that's right. We didn't lose willpower. Or, sorry, fellowship. We lost strength. I forgot about that. All right, cool. Choose a name. We are going to be Bobbington the Third. I like it. Bobbington the Third. That is our name. We'll probably do something a little bit more apropos. Once again we do the full regular launch of the game and the coverage therein. So should be good. Probably Bumpilius. It seems like that would work quite well in this setting. All right. Isn't that just lovely and or creepy? All right, so it's Kunrad Voigtver. An excellent place for contemplation. The man who has approached you is gazing down into the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. Speaking of sublimity and God Emperor, we can hover over any highlighted texts and get a little bit more information, I guess that's apparently his name, about the stuff. Now, again, that's the specific highlighted stuff, right? And then we can right-click to expand, and then we can read it up here. We can even go into the encyclopedia to get more information. Essentially, the God Emperor, Emperor of Mankind, Master of Mankind, the ruler of the Imperium, and Savior of all mankind. So, there we go. And then we have our options over here on the right. Truly an awe-inspiring sight. Frankly, such excess can be tiring at times. Yes, I got it. Thank you. All this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense, it is enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. Have we met? Do you have a particular reason for disturbing me? I've went with the first one multiple times. I actually really like the third one. I'm going to go with the third one. All this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense, it is enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. The man cast an intrigued eye over you. An interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interest of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, the master of humanity. I merely criticize the talentless architects of this place, nothing more. True. I prefer to serve by acting, not speaking. Very nice. I thank you for the advice. I shall strive to follow it in the future. I do not show a deference for things I do not believe in myself. Fair. You seem to attach much importance to words. Well, I have a fondness for names. I have yet to hear yours. I merely criticize the talentless architects of this place, nothing more. I prefer to serve by acting, not speaking. No, I'm going to go with the criticize the dudes. I like it. I understand. But the particularities of my craft have made me a perceptive individual capable of seeing through to the root of things, unlike millions of his devout servants. Trust me, your words could easily be interpreted a different way, especially by one inclined to do so. That is a fair point. Allow me to introduce myself. Hunrad Voigtver, Master of Whispers in the employ of her ladyship rogue trader Theodora von Valentius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. Voigtver bows his head and focuses his attention on you. We know all about the hyperlinks. Thank you, sirs, and or madams. My name is Bobbington III, the venerable Archdeacon Bobbington III. I'm very venerable. My regards, your reverence. Judging by the beginning of our conversation, you have rather interesting views on the deeds of the Adeptus Ministorum. Voigtver smiles slyly, looking you in the eye. You, Bobbington III, are an individual of extraordinary talent to have retained your rank this long. Or perhaps Providence itself has shown you favor. I will be frank with you. You may forget your family name no matter who gave it to you or what its origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth you share your dynastic name. With her ladyship, bear it with honor. Alright, Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? Tell me about the one on whose ship I have found myself. You say that I am one of the rogue trader's heirs, and there is another candidate? I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. Alright, we're going to start with the top and work our way down. Lord Captain, strange title for Lady Theodora. Well, such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis, at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore it is sacrosanct. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? So that you may fulfill your blood duty, Bobbington III. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader in deeds blessed by the God Emperor. I see that you are shocked. Yes, you understood correctly. Lady Theodora's authorities indeed supersedes that of those whom you obeyed before. The Lord Captain's power is so great that she is capable of performing unthinkable feats, such as changing the fate of a servant of the Imperium, your fate. You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? Well, to put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencius. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities, and I exploit those of others. Tell me about the one on whose ship I have found myself. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I what whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Voigtavir laughs and shakes his head. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities. You say I am one of the rogue trader's heirs, and there is another candidate? Voigtavir shrugs slightly. There are. You will meet them soon enough. Let us assume that you had some goal, or I assume that you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let's address it. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine that you have many questions for your patroness, and I am sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Adelthred von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform located in one of the wings of the officer's deck. Let us join them there. I shall accompany you. Alright, follow Khunrad by right of blood. Movement. Look around and start moving. Left mouse button, a special symbol will appear. Click the point to move. The point is out of reach. Symbol will be displayed in the nearest available spot. Alright. Sounds good. We can move around with WASD. Q and E rotates the camera.
Victory awaits.
And interactable objects. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Some objects in the game can be interacted with in a special way. They are marked with specific icons. Some will allow you to study objects. Others will transfer the character to neighboring locations or launch small events. Click the left mouse button on the icon to perform the corresponding action. Some interactive objects such as doors or chests are not always marked with icons. Hover over. If the image has changed, then it's interactable. Alright. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value on or aboard a void ship. Oh, there's more over here. I've never noticed this.
Follow my lead.
Oh. Incomprehensible information displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out mentions of unfamiliar systems and worlds among the numbers and the symbols. What does this do? I brought it back green. The Logisticar symbols.
A new challenge
there
for
more?
me?
A new challenge for me. Get back up. Ah, yes. A candle-lit altar with a copy of the 2,348th volume of the Lex Imperialis, the Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium. For the Emperor. I think that's one of the laws. It's like the Prinny has to say dude all the time. We have to say for the Emperor once every so often. Otherwise, we're considered a heretic. And we're just spouting heresy at that point. So, I mean, we can't do that. Master of Whispers, it's an emergency. The esteemed Lord Captain's pet has broken the bolts of its cage and has escaped. Oh, no! Do keep in mind this is a beta, so our high performance right there. Problem. I don't know if you guys noticed, right? We had the little stuff when it's going into cinematic mode. You can see like the little outlines around the side and such. Our camera is actually one of like the servitor heads or something that float around. You'll see it when we go onto the map. All right, we've been ambushed. The battle begins. See, the little head there floating around. That's how we see stuff. That guy did not do very well. I like that we have a combat log over here. Kunrad just buffed us. Alright. All battles in the game are turn-based, or all battle in the game is turn-based. On their turn, the character can move, attack, and use their abilities. Select a position within the selected area and double-click the mouse button to move there. Got it. Also, movement points determine how far a character can move. One corresponds to one cell on the battlefield. Moving diagonally is more costly. Every second diagonal cell you move takes away 2 MP. At the beginning of each turn, movement points are restored to their maximum value. The higher the character's agility characteristic, the more MP they get. I have 6? I have 6 MP. Alright, I'm getting right up into your business, sir. Alright, then it's going to say to attack, select a single shot icon from the taskbar, right down here. Hover over the enemy, a pop-up bar will indicate the chance to hit, possible damage if you were successful. Left click to get him. Damage depends on parameters of selected weapon abilities. With the attack tag can only be used once per turn. If the character makes an attack, they can no longer attack and lose movement points until the start of their next turn. So, we could do that, or we can go down here and we do study enemies, because it's 2 AP. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You see, it's a pretty sizable area.
Not a problem for me.
Alright, I'm studying enemies, so now he's got a whole bunch of stuff up there. If you still have action points after the shot, you can use other abilities. I did it beforehand. Spacebar to end your turn. We're going to go take a shot. It's a 70% chance to hit.
Already done.
Oh my god, I actually landed the shot. I missed last time. Well, this is terrifying. Alright. Yeah.
Death
Look at
to the
that.
heretics!
Death to the heretics. I could scarcely believe it on a day like this. Oh, also last time my dude walked off this way for like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, I guess I broke the game. And then, whoop, I popped right over here. It was pretty funny. All right, what suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. A wild beast breaks free on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. Without taking his eyes off the dead beast, Voigtveer removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. Alright. Killed the rogue trader's pet. We did that. Bunch of people run around. Spread out. No one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations! At your service, Master Voigtveer. The lines of Voigtveer's forehead soften, and his voice regains its usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, Bobbington III. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of the corridor. The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. Thank you. The journal records your current quests, rumors, and other assignments. To open the journal, press J. Journal entries help keep track of events and guide your character on their adventure. The Quests tab marks the progress of the main story and side quests. The Rumors and Orders section contains additional information that may lead your character to new events. As the story progresses and the status of the current task changes, you will see a pop-up at the top of the main game screen. Alright, whoa. What happened to me?
Doubt is for the weak.
Not sure why the camera went over there. What's up? A huge beast roars at your approach. The tentacles in its mouth begin to move, oozing muddy saliva from the numerous pores. By the way, it pops up down here for a briefly longer period of time. The cage from which Theodora's pet escaped shows no obvious signs of damage. The cause of the creature's escape remains a mystery to you.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
If I see you raise your head again, I'll hand you over to the tech priest for servitorization. For the Emperor.
I won't tolerate
Yeah, I was over there and I
weakness.
punched that guy, and it was great. Look at all the pretty stuff. Very Warhammer 40k. Very Warhammer 40k. I mean, and it has to be, right? That's the
None
name of the
shall
game.
stand in my
That's
way.
the name of the game. It's very nice. I like it. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson, and suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Adelthrad? I'm going to survey the room. I'm here to speak with the Lord Captain. Listen in silence. I'll survey the room. Your first impression of Adelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, youngster, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Adelthrad, Theodora von Valencia's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Adelthrad. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. An electronical digital storage device similar to a tablet or a tablet computer. Gotcha. I mean, I knew that. You guys probably did too, but just in case. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Bobbington III. Approach and give me your answer. Okay. Passive skill checks. Characters' skills reflect their current level of knowledge and ability. Sometimes you get an additional information and dialogue if a passive skill check was successful. Skill checks use the character from the party with the highest value of the applicable ability. Alright, I got it. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say. But attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? It looks like we have two different lore things that we can go with, and quite a few options here. Let's read through these. I'm probably going to pick the top one. Lore Xenos succeeded. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship. I think that's a good call. We have lore warp succeeded. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Aeon 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. The natives of Aeon 6 are lost souls in need of a shepherd's crook or a whip. I'm a priest of the ecclesiarchy. I know how to instill reverence for the emperor. There are many ways. These reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interests first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Aeon 6 would be mine. Aeon 6 must be purged. For the good of the Imperium, I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and otherworldly powers that rule the native apostates. I do not know. We're going to go with the spirits could well be native for dangerous aliens. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Aethelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos. It's probably Xenos. That's how they say it. I'm probably going to go with Xenos. I don't know. Just please accept it and move on. An untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Bobbington III, are simply unaware of their existence. Yes, quite. Look, I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Aethelthrad. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become any one of our status to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Aethelthrad. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. Shut your mouth, Aethelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which is still far more than you could do. The color drains from Aethelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, ignorant upstart, how dare you? Aethelthrad! Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on the ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview? I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Aethelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. That's right, get got, son. Get out of here. Ain't nobody wants you around. I don't know. He seems like a jerk, just saying. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Bobbington III, why are you here? Was it not you who sent for me? There are questions that I wish to have answered. I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that. The third one. The last one we did there. Theodora smiles wryly. Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massimo af Scarus. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by the most sacred relic, the warrant of trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bode death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Bobbington III, are one of those with the von Valentius blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. One of? Does this mean there are other heirs? Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Technically two-ish, sort of. Aethelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Bloodright alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of the warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voigtiver served me for many years before he made his mistake. If you're satisfied with Aethelthrad, then what sense is there in having conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? Theodora shakes her head, impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Aethelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Coronis Expanse. A priest of the Adeptus Ministorum. I would have never thought that someone of my house would become one. Spare me the recital of your dogmas on humility and service. I am well aware that the ecclesiarchy is no less versed in matters of logistics than the hair splitters from the administratum. Administratum? We'll say stratum. When your commercial interests are hidden behind a facade of concern for humanity's souls, any action you take will raise far fewer questions than it would otherwise. Wait, did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you? His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valencius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voigtivir's performance in his current role is satisfactory, or it used to be at least. Alright. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Navigator, a sanctioned noble mutant, whose genes allow them to safely guide the warp-capable void ship through the warp. And then we also have the warp, an alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Aether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space. Cool. Wait. Navigator, translator. Translation, what are these things that you speak of? Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Geller Field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. Well, you might need to know that an incident took place on the officer's deck. A wild beast is roaming free and attacking anyone it ran into. Oh, is that so? I do keep a number of pets native to one of my planets on the officer's deck. Perhaps someone was careless during feeding time, or it could be the warp plane tricks on us in spite of the Geller Field. Or perhaps our possessed ship was in the mood for a lark. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. Well, the gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread by uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. That's what we're going to call him. It's probably like Abelard or something like that, but we're going to call him Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Cogitators, any type of digital computer in the Imperium of Man. Alright, well, where's the ship headed? The Rycad system. The domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possess resources comparable or comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valencius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. What is the Coronis Expanse? A scattered, poorly explored region on the frontier of the Imperium, full of fearsome Xenos, treasure, heathen worlds, and the echoes of ancient doom for the Emperor. See? I'm still good. I set the course for Rykad on the demand. Theodore grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time. Alright, we're going to break it off right here, and we are going to continue with another episode. We're probably going to do a 2 to 5 episode mini-series of the beta test, and then once the game comes out, we're going to launch into it all proper styles with a Z. I don't know if we're going to be doing a lot of rehashing of this first little bit, so that's why I'm always a little cautious, a little apprehensive doing a mini series, but I want to give you guys a little bit more. We might only do, like I said, like a 3 episode arc or something. I want to let you guys see a little bit more of the combat, build a little bit more of the story behind it, and then again, hopefully you guys will enjoy the second time around. Maybe there'll be a bit more added in. I can't say what the final product is going to look like or feel like or have in it yet, so either way, I'm eager for it. But that's going to do it for this episode. In the next episode, we continue right from where we're leaving off here with the additional dialogue choices and seeing where that takes us. If you guys want more information about the game, where to get the game, information on the developer, or any of that stuff down below in the description of the video, there'll be various links just like there always are. A big shout out and a thank you once again to Owlcat Games for hooking me up with the code for this and taking care of me. It means a lot, and I am truly, truly grateful. Do the YouTube thing, guys and gals. Like, subscribe, share. I don't bug you about it very often, so it would be cool, considering like 90 or 89% of people that watch the stuff are not subscribed. That's kind of terrible. I would much prefer to have 90% more people subscribed. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for stopping by the Freak Show. I've been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. We play, we fight, we conquer.